Several times over the years, I've worked with a family, and here's what happened. Let's say mom died, and mom didn't have a will, and so dad inherited the usufruct of mom's half of the community property, and the children were named the naked owners. And so the children will come in, years later and say, well, when mom died, we just signed all the paperwork so that dad could have everything. So even though the children were entitled to inherit this naked ownership, they did the paperwork in a way that they just gave it all back to dad, and now dad owns everything. Well, then dad, maybe he remarries and he writes a will providing for his next spouse, and the children are standing there saying, well, wait a second, I inherited my mother's half of everything, at least I get that. And we have to tell them, no, when mom died and you gave everything back to dad, you gave it back to dad, and he can do whatever he wants to with it. You gave up all of your rights and your mother's inheritance. So children need to be aware that, sure, when the first spouse dies, you want to make things easy for the surviving spouse. You want to give it all back to your dad or mom or whoever that surviving spouse is. But be aware that life changes, circumstances change, and that surviving spouse really has complete control over where it goes when the surviving spouse dies. So know your rights, know what may happen in the future before you start signing off on documents after a family member dies. All those things that you sign have consequences in the future. If you have questions about settling a succession or an estate settlement in Louisiana, feel free to give our office a call. We do successions all over the state, all 64 parishes, 866-491-3884. Have a good one.